All right, Algebra 2 fans, today we're looking at adding and subtracting rational expressions. So add, subtract rational expressions. We have simple rules, very, very simple rules. Just like adding fractions normal, 1/2 plus 1/3, we have to have a common denominator. So in order to add fractions or subtract fractions, we have to have a common denominator, okay? So because these are rational expressions, we have to make sure our denominators are in factored form. So that's key. Make sure your denominators are in factored form. So I'll look at this one right here. We got to put this in factored form. That's right. It's a GCF of 3, so I have x plus 2. Here we have a GCF of, oh, we don't have a GCF on that one. Oh, this should be a 6. Sorry, guys, this should be a 6 right here. There. So we have a GCF of 2, and we have an x minus 3. Okay, so it takes care of that. Now we have to make the lowest common denominator, LCD, lowest common denominator. We have to make the lowest. So in order to make the lowest common denominator, we have to look at our factors, the denominators, and say, what do they have in common? Is there anything in common? No, they have nothing in common. There's nothing wrong with that. They have nothing in common. And then we multiply by what is missing. Since these have nothing in common, well, then this side is missing this entire piece. So we have to multiply top and bottom by this entire piece. The 2 and the x minus 3. Okay? We're multiplying by what's missing. And we have to multiply the bottom by the same thing. The 2 and the x minus 3. Notice this side has nothing in common with this, so this side is missing all of that. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by this 3 and the x plus 2. Okay? So now we're going to rewrite each term with the least common denominator, the LCD. All right, so I have them written out, and now we just have to multiply. We got to multiply and then combine like terms. So the next step 4 is the biggie. When we do all the multiplication, we do all the combining like terms. We do not multiply the denominators out. We do not multiply denominators out. The only thing that you would multiply would be your singletons. So the only thing I'm going to multiply on the denominator is just the 2 and the 3. So I'm going to make one big giant fraction, and I'm going to multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. And then the rest we leave alone. Remember, you only need to write one denominator because these two denominators are the same. Remember, when you add fractions or subtract fractions, once the denominators are the same, we do all the work on top. So I only need to write one denominator out. All right, so now I just have to start cleaning this up. Yes, this is right. This is 2 times 4 is 8 times the x minus 3. Okay, so that's 2 times 4 is 8 times the x minus 3. Some of you would do that all in one step. Minus 3 times 5 is 15 times x plus 2. So I did this in 2 steps. Normally I would do it in 1. Okay. So now I have to distribute my 8 and distribute the negative 15. So this becomes on top, so I have 8x minus 24 minus 15x minus 30. So I distribute the negative 15. Okay, the denominator stays the same. We don't do anything with it. And now we have to combine like terms at the top. And so what is this? 8x minus 15 is a negative 7x. And then negative 24 and negative 30 is a negative 54. And then we just rewrite the bottom. And then we would simplify. Well, look at this. Other than pulling out a negative 1, 754, we can't do anything with a 7 and a 54. So this problem's done. that is in simplest form. Okay? So we did everything. We multiplied by the missing pieces. It was missing everything, and then we kept the denominator the same. All right? The only thing we multiply out is in the denominator is just the 2 and the 3, the singletons. That's all that we can do. We don't do any other multiplication in the denominator. So you leave the denominators exactly like this. All right. Number 2. That's right. Step 1, put everything, factor your denominators. So that gets factored. X minus 3, x plus 3. Factor x parentheses x minus 3. Okay, now we're making the common denominator. What do they have in common? You're right, I see an x minus 3 in common. Multiply by what's missing? This side is missing the x. That's right, this side is missing the x. So I have to multiply top and bottom by an x. This side is missing the x plus 3. So I have to multiply top and bottom by an x plus 3. So what is the denominator? The denominator is x times x minus 3, x plus 3. You do not multiply anything out. You just leave it in this format. Okay? So those two are exactly the same. I only need to write it once. And then the top, we just work our magic. Okay, so we have 2x. And now here I have negative 1 times the x minus 3. So negative x minus 3. All right? So that's the hard part. That's rewriting everything with the least common denominator. Okay, now I'm going to combine my terms. So what do we have? 2x minus x. So I have x minus 3 at the top over x parentheses x minus 3, then x plus 3. And then we simplify. And what do you notice at top and bottom? Right, the x minus 3's cancel. Just like in that old stuff, 1 and 1. So our final result here in simplest form is 1 over x parentheses x plus 3. Okay. That's all we can do. All right. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 is different because look at your denominator. That says 4 minus y. All right, we'll get to that. So remember this. All right, step 1, factor denominators. Right, y squared minus 16, y minus 4, y plus 4. That's a y minus 4 there. Okay, here. What are we going to do with y minus 4 minus y? Right, it's written backwards. That's right. It's off by negative 1. So in other words, this is what we're going to do. We're going to rewrite this so it looks normal, okay? So we're going to write, I'm going to cross this out and I'm going to write y minus 4. Well, then how did I do that? That's right, you multiplied by a negative 1, or we factored out a negative 1. So whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So I'm going to put a negative 1 not on the bottom, but I'm going to put it on the top. I think it'll be easier for you to see it on top. So I'm going to multiply the top by a negative 1. Okay. Now I'm ready to do my work. So we fixed the denominator. We got the denominators in factored form, and we fixed this one so it's normal. Okay. So now we're going to make our common denominator. What do they have in common? Just the y minus 4. Right. Okay, so is this side missing anything? No, because the only thing on this side is the y minus 4. Okay, so over here on the right-hand side, we are missing the y plus 4. So I have to multiply top and bottom by a y plus 4. Notice these two denominators are exactly the same. So I'm going to write it once. Y minus 4, y plus 4. Okay, nothing to do over here. So I just write y squared. And now here, it's a negative 2 times each of these now. So negative 2 times each of those. So that's negative 2y minus 8. Okay. All right, now what do? That's right, now we're at we combine, there's nothing to combine. And now we're going, if we have to reorganize in here, we would reorganize, but there's nothing to do there. Now we're going to simplify. That this can get factored. That's right. This is factorable. Your 2 parentheses for factoring, so y minus 4 and a y plus 2 over y minus 4 and a y plus 4. And what cancels? You're right, those cancel. So we're 1, 1. So we're left with y plus 2 over y plus 4. That's our final answer. So I'm running out of room down here. I'm trying not to squeeze it all in there. So we have y plus 2 over y plus 4 when it's all said and done. Okay, there. Okay. That's it. So that biggie here was this 4 minus y written backwards. We fixed with the -1. That's right. You see it again over here in number 4. We have to fix this. All right, you want to fix it now? We'll fix it now. So we're going to rewrite 5 minus x as x minus 5, and we'll multiply the top by a -1. Okay, we multiply the top by a -1. Okay, be careful. If this is ever a minus sign here, then you'd have a double negative that you'd have to worry about. Okay, all right. This gets factored, right? X parentheses x minus 5. All right, so what's missing here? They have an x minus 5 in common, so this side's all done. This side's just missing the x. So we have to multiply this side, top and bottom, by an x. So our one and only denominator, x parentheses x minus 5. Do not write, don't multiply anything out. Leave it in factored form. Just like I've been doing. Leave everything in factored form. Now up here, nothing to do here, so we're just going to write it down. And then over here, what do we have? A positive, so -1 times 2x, so -2x. All right. Nothing to combine, but we are going to rewrite. So I'm going to rewrite this. So it's x squared minus 2x minus 15. That's right. This can get factored now. So I'll do the factoring over here. So it's x and x, 5 and a 3, minus and a plus. Remember, it's got to multiply to -15, subtract to 2. Okay, and I'm saying subtract because the 15 is negative. Signs are different. All right, and there you go. These cancel. So our final result, x plus 3 over x. All right, folks. That is adding, subtracting rational expressions. Remember, you have to factor the denominators. Then we're going to make the lowest common denominator by asking ourselves, what do they have in common? Multiply by what is missing. We're going to write each term with the lowest common denominator. Then we're going to combine terms that we need to combine. Remember, we do nothing with the denominators, okay? And then we simplify the expressions. So that may involve factor canceling, okay? Just like we've been doing in the past with the multiplication and division. So, okay. Well, that's it, folks. That's it in a nutshell. All right.